So I went to the Kane Sport message board because I knew you were fired up about the Miami thing and the Notre Dame thing and what Hunter Yurachek said about it in the college football playoff ranking reveal on Tuesday night. Hunter Yurachek, he talks to Reese Davis and he does a teleconference with reporters. And so I immediately went to Kane Sport, our Miami site, and on Gary Furman's War Room, the main board, Matt Shodell, the managing editor of Kane Sport, posted a thread. More from the committee on how they compared Miami and Notre Dame. And it's a quote. Ask how the system works when comparing Miami and Notre Dame. Yurachek said, there are groupings of teams compared throughout the rankings. Notre Dame and Miami, you have the head-to-head, but that's only one data point. The committee felt, as you watch Notre Dame on film, watch their games throughout the year, they've been consistent. Even in the early season games, they lost by 3 and 1 point to Miami and Texas A&M. Miami, it appears they're starting to look like the team that started 5-0. So we compare a number of things looking at teams that are closely ranked together. You have some teams between Miami and Notre Dame, such as Alabama, BYU, that we are also comparing to Miami as well. You took that to mean they are now comparing Miami and Notre Dame head-to-head, and they still don't think Miami needs to be ahead of Notre Dame.
I didn't take that to mean it's what he said, right? Like, am I misunderstanding that?
Well, and the rankings say what they say too.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm misinterpreting that.
Miami is now number 12, but that's still 3 spots below Notre Dame.
I slept with my contacts last night, and my eyes are a little bit bloodshot. I might pop a vessel here, Andy.
The floor is yours.
I'm just going to ask you a straight up question before I start cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what's going to happen because Miami still has a ranked opponent to play. So if you beat that ranked opponent, I don't know what happens a week from now. We don't know what's going to happen on Friday. But if we get to the end of the road here, and this is the result, to me, that is the single biggest injustice in the history of the college football rankings. Now, you might jump out and say Florida State and Alabama. There's a article framed up on my wall here from the New York Times, front page of the sports section, and I'm boasting. Yes, I am. Committee reveals ugly truth. This was always a beauty contest, a column written by me on how they got that wrong. But the difference between that situation and this situation is that if they would have taken Florida State, then that might have also been the wrong decision in the other way. There was no winning in that situation. That was an impossible situation with 4 spots and 5 teams that were worthy. This is the first time that I can remember them making a decision, comparing the teams, using all the metrics and the data and the results of the games, and flat out getting it wrong. Is there any other instance? And you tell me, save me for me, because I've got Notre Dame fans firing me up. They think I'm upset about Notre Dame getting in. Let me say this. Notre Dame's a very good team who could make a run. This isn't about whether or not I think they're good. They're clearly good. But is there another instance in the 10 years or 11 years prior to this where they had a decision to make with the results of the games and made the wrong one? And do you think that I'm right about this?
I do think you're right about this, because I think if Notre Dame had Alabama's wins or Georgia's wins, then we're not having a discussion about this. They would have enough quality wins that their resumes would be appreciably different.
And
but
that's the part that I think people
have those quality wins. They have 2 quality losses.
The best thing about Notre Dame's resume, outside of the win over USC, which remains 17.
Right, and Miami has a better best win than Notre Dame does because Miami beat Notre Dame.
But the best thing that they did outside of that was lose close games.
Right.
And that's the first time ever. And I know the committee operates differently. I do. I get it. Every year there's new people, new ways of looking at it. Obviously, they introduced new data metrics into the equation this year that the SEC stumped for during the offseason. I get all that. I also get that the computers love Notre Dame. But is it a coincidence that Notre Dame looks much better and seems to be humming at the right time because they're playing a schedule filled with drivel? I mean, if you think about some of their wins, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about Boston College. We're talking about Purdue, Arkansas, Syracuse. These are bad teams. They're not not good. They're bad teams. Of course they're going to get better. Of course they're going to look awesome. Of course they're going to pass the eye test. I cannot for the life, and if you think that the whole deal is just Miami beat Notre Dame and that's it, It's not just that. They've got comparable resumes. And the teams that Miami lost to aren't even that bad. One's ranked in the top 21. And the other one has been ranked all year. It's not like they lost to Florida State. They lost to teams that are in the top 35.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, though.
Please.
Be honest. If Miami and Notre Dame played today on a neutral site, who would you pick to win the game?
I would pick Notre Dame to win the game.
And that is what Notre Dame fans are going to say. And that is what anybody else who agrees with this decision
now, let me ask
is
you
going to say.
What's my record against the spread this year?
It's really bad.
Is it 30 games below 500? Who gives a shit what I think? Who gives a shit what you think?
But the thing is, if you asked me, who has a good record against the spread this year, I would say the same thing. I would pick Notre Dame.
Is 65, 52, and 3 good enough to make a decision based on what you think rather than the data?
It's a hell of a lot better than yours.
It's a great record. You're doing great. I'm not coming down on you.
No, but I'm saying if you took 100 people who watch lots of college football, who've watched who just morning, noon, night, every Saturday watch every game, and you said, who wins if Miami and Notre Dame play on a neutral field right now? How many of them are going to tell you Miami wins?
A lot of them. I don't know.
Nope.
90?
No, 90% of them will say that Notre Dame wins.
Yeah. You know where we're going on Friday?
We are going to Detroit, to the MGM Grand.
You ever been to this casino we're staying at? You ever been inside or looked at it from the outside?
I'm not.
Beautiful structure. I think it's close to a Vegas vibe as you can get outside of Vegas. Beautiful structure, beautiful company, beautiful building. You think that they made that beautiful building because everybody in the public in their notions are correct all the time? I
get what you're saying. I'm trying to explain to you why what we think is elementary is more complicated. Because I know what you're saying, and I understand because I agree with you.
And the reason why
they played a game, their resumes are very similar, and you're taking the team that lost and putting it ahead of the team that won, which doesn't make sense.
And if your reasoning for that is what you're saying, then you're saying what we think will happen in the future, which isn't part of the criteria or what they're supposed to be doing.
It's the hypothetical. It's the hypothetical wins that we always joke about when SEC honks are saying this team would be better than this team would be. All these SEC teams would be better. It's just not an SEC team this time.
This is the first time in 11 years of covering this that I feel like a team is being personally wronged by the committee. And what
makes you so mad, I think, is that it is now dawned on you. And I've been trying to tell you this for weeks. They're not putting Miami ahead of Notre Dame. They're not.
It makes me mad because I feel like we are all driving out on the street and somebody erased the markers on the road. That's what I feel like. I feel like what we usually have come to expect and how the system works and how we've navigated that.
We think the games need to matter, and I get it, because the part I don't like about this is you essentially could have just simulated the entire season on your PlayStation. What the hell was the point of playing the game in the first place?
And I made the joke before, but if I were Miami, I said this to you before the show started, I wouldn't even play next year. I would cancel it.
But they can't do that because it's part of the ACC agreement with Notre Dame.
No,
if they were in a different conference, yes, they could cancel the Notre Dame game.
I would cancel.
But they can't do that.
And I understand that there are other things that are gained by playing Notre Dame, obviously. And then here's the point too that a lot of people are making. If Miami would have played Rice instead of Notre Dame in week 1, would Miami be in the conversation? Would they be at number 18 or 19? And you're like waving your head no, like you're assuming it as if Utah is some sort of juggernaut that's been beating the shit out of good teams. Like there are other teams that have played nobody right next to them. So what makes you shake your head no?
If they played Rice instead of Notre Dame, they would be below. With the wins they have, they would be below Utah, Vanderbilt, Michigan. They might be ahead of Texas.
Yeah. So they'd be 4 spots.
So they'd be far away from Notre Dame. They wouldn't be anywhere near Notre Dame.
No, I know. So their entire schedule is propped up by Notre Dame, whose entire schedule is propped up by bad losses. That's wild.
No, by good losses.
Sorry, yeah, good losses. Sorry. My bad.
But yes, this is the thing that used to drive people crazy. And I find it interesting because it's all the stuff that people use to criticize the SEC teams and think the SEC wants to win all these hypothetical matchups. And again, I'm telling you right now, this is the thing the SEC and the Big Ten push for to get more of their teams in, and it is helping Notre Dame. Now, I don't think it's screwing an SEC or a Big Ten team, though it could ultimately, depending on what happens with Alabama and Michigan. But I do find it somewhat funny that they pushed for an insistence on these predictive rankings. They're getting it, and it didn't help any of their teams. It's helping Notre Dame.
Yeah. I wouldn't be nearly as wound up about this if like Miami beat Bama. No, sorry. I'm trying to think of a team that's not ahead of them that would have given them a lot of credit. Like if Miami beat Michigan or something. And that, because I still think that if Miami would have beaten Michigan, they're number one, they'd have the same record with a better win than Notre Dame. Like the head-to-head thing is what drives me insane because we're supposed to be parsing through what would happen if these two teams played while ignoring what happened when these two teams played. It just is it's too low-hanging fruit to me. And I understand the arguments. Well, one team's gotten better as the year went on. Well, one team has progressively played worse teams as the year's gone on. And their entire strength of schedule metrics are propped up by the games they lost. It's insane. It's truly insane. And I know that I've been pounding the table about this for a month. And I thought this past month that as the season progressed and results came in, that the committee would do the right thing at the end. And if what we heard tonight from the chair is how they're going to do this in 2 weeks, then they're just picking who they think is better. And who they think is better means nothing to me because I don't think anyone on that committee would be a 60% gambler.
I'm looking at the Sagarin ratings right now. So this is not one of the ESPN ones, but this is something that like the BCS computers would have used. I'm looking at Jeff Sagarin's schedule strength ratings. Who do you think has the higher strength of schedule, Notre Dame or Miami?
I would guess. I don't know the answer to that right now. I would guess Notre Dame.
It's Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That's Notre Dame's is 27th, Miami's is 38th.
It's not a flex to have a stronger schedule if the teams that are boasting your schedule are the ones that beat you. It doesn't do anything for me.
I'm just telling you, I don't think the rest of Notre Dame's schedule is as weak as you are saying it is.
Navy looks like a pretty good win.
Navy's a pretty good win.
Purdue, Arkansas,
Pitt's going to be a pretty good win.
Yeah.
We'll see about NC State if they can finish strong.
Pitt
the Arkansas thing's interesting to me because Notre Dame crushed Arkansas, right?
Yeah, the winless SEC.
What happened when Texas A&M played Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
It was a close game.
Okay.
So the games that they played against common opponents matter, but the games that they played against the team that they're leaving out doesn't.
Oh, I know. Look, okay. I told you I'm on your side on this.
No, I know, but I'm not arguing.
But I feel like I have to help the other people who are watching and listening.
Yeah, and I appreciate
and represent their viewpoint here.
But when I respond to you that way, I'm not attacking Andy. I'm attacking the listener.
Yeah.
Things to a steering wheel. Because it's like, don't tell me about common opponents in previous matchups. The previous matchup from the beginning of when did they play them? In September? That doesn't count.
But it's so funny with these predictive things. So I mentioned Sagarin and the schedule strength. Do you know where Notre Dame is ranked just overall in the Sagarin rankings?
9, 8,
2.
Wild.
Right behind Ohio State.
I don't think that data should take precedent over the information that we have, period. Whether it's Notre Dame, Ohio State.
You don't think data should take precedent over information?
Over the results of the games, I should say.
Okay.
It's like we have all these high-tech ways of telling you who would win games and how good they are, but the games that actually happened are nothing.
Well, this is the Skynet conversation we were having the other day.
AI will kill us.
The computers are great until they rise up and kill us.
And by the way, I'm going to finish this off because I just railed on Notre Dame for 20 minutes. Best college campus, I think. Most unique college campus in the country. Beautiful uniforms. Think you should wear green more. I'm not sucking up. Think you should wear green more. I love those jerseys. Think you're really good. Think you could win the national title this year. I still think all those things. It's not a Notre Dame sucks conversation. It is a process conversation. I want to be clear.
Right.
I am upset about the process.
It does not matter what teams these are. It could be any two teams in this identical situation. Yes. It
could be Ohio State and Michigan. And if Ohio State were Miami, I would be saying the same thing about Ohio State or vice versa. It's not Notre Dame. It is process. Say it with me again. It's not Notre Dame. It's process.